the Bill and Scott Cubicle Show with Billy the Kid and Scott Tang.
Cubicle Show. Cubicle Show. Cubicle Show. Cubicle Show!
It's the Bill and Scott Cubicle Show. Yeah. It's the Bill and Scott Cubicle Show. Yeah!
Ooh, filmed in front of a live cubicle audience. Shout out the Beehive behind us. And I'm Scott.
And I'm Bill.
And this is
the Bill and Scott Cubicle Show.
Wow, Epi number 139. Live and direct, here we are. We got a lot to get to today. Blue Ivy spending a whole bunch of money, her parents' money. We got this video of this woman standing in a parking spot, and she's saying that that's her parking spot. Well, somebody else is trying to park. That's in an actual car. We'll play you a little bit of the clip. We'll talk about that. Taylor Swift is being accused of making Fifth Harmony go their own ways.
Ooh, the mastermind is at it again.
But before we get into all that, I do want to start off with Rick Ross, because the big news about 2 weeks ago is that Rick Ross went to the hospital. He was allegedly put on like stuff to help his heart and to help his breathing. He's putting under all these machines, and everybody's like, oh no, pray for Ross. We don't know if he's going to be here much longer. Well, a few days later, he surfaces out, and he's out in the world. He's doing his thing, and I just realized that I didn't put the little thing that I wanted to upload, which is definitely unfortunate. So that means I am going to have to show you it off my phone.
Hey, you know what? That's improvisation. That's American ingenuity right there. You got a problem, find a solution, and here we go.
Right now, Rick Ross made his first appearance since being in the hospital the other day, right?
Yeah.
And this guy is looking the best he has ever looked.
Is Rick Ross out here living his best life?
That is his best life right now. Look at that, man.
Gotta say, that's a pretty shapely Rick Ross.
Right?
Like, he doesn't really look like a bowling ball. He looks more like a person.
Right? Okay, so now what I think here is that Rick Ross really never had a scare. He was really never put into the emergency room because he had whatever, a seizure or whatever it was, that heart attack.
Yeah.
It wasn't because of that. I believe because he's been losing so much weight lately, right? And a big operation that people have to do when they lose like hundreds of pounds is they have to, I'm not sure of the proper term, but it's like the skin grafting, where they like remove all the extra skin and everything on your body, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know what it's called either, but
I'm
yeah.
not sure, but you know what I'm talking about, that procedure.
If you lose a lot of weight really fast, it just your skin doesn't have time to retract. It just hangs off your body, and you have to have it removed.
And now this is a very painful procedure, I would imagine. I would imagine that you just don't go in at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and leave at 5 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I would believe you're in the hospital for a few days afterwards, minimum, just to make sure like everything's being monitored right. What if Rick Ross went to the hospital to get that type of surgery done? His crew never said anything about it, let the media speculate what's going on. Of course he'd be hooked up to all types of machines if he's getting surgery like that. Breathing machines, heart machines, that's a given if you're putting a body through that much stress. What if he really never did, and he really just went there to get that skin thing done, and now we all believed it was something else here?
Wow.
Is that a real possibility?
That definitely seems feasible to me. I mean,
because this is the healthiest I've ever seen Rick Ross look.
Yeah.
And this is just days after or like a week after he was in the hospital.
You know, there were those reports that was like, oh, Rick Ross might die. But if like what you're saying is true and nobody from his camp ever said anything and they just let the media speculate, you know, because potential...
The story they have is better than that story.
Yeah. Potential death sells, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the people are going to jump right on that. They're going to talk about it. Whereas,
beat death again.
I mean, I don't know. Personally, I think I'd rather talk about Rick Ross getting his skin flaps taken off, because I feel like there's more jokes you can make out of that, because you can't really make jokes out of death. But that's just my approach to news.
But if they can't hear you, why not make the jokes?
Oh my goodness. Scott's bad jokes, ladies and gentlemen. There's a preview.
Oh, God. Jay Scott approved that one. I seen him look over and give me a nice little smile. Okay, so we didn't have a clip of this, but I do want to touch on it real quick. Is the new Lil Dicky video out? We, unfortunately, probably get ripped down if we play it, but hilarious video, great concept. I think this is some of the best Chris Brown I've heard in a while. Lil Dicky's doing Lil Dicky. It's all about switching bodies.
It's called Freaky Friday. Yeah, Chris Brown and Lil Dicky switch bodies, so Chris Brown is singing from the perspective of Lil Dicky living in his body like, oh, I can dance, I can sing, I'm rich, famous, people know who I am. And then Chris Brown is like, oh, he's in Lil Dicky's body like, nobody knows who I am. But then he's like, oh, it's kind of cool because like I can relax, go to the movies. He even says at one point, he's like, I'm a blood, but I can wear blue now. And then at the end of the video, Lil Dicky switches bodies with several more celebrities. Ed Sheeran, and he's like, oh, this is not as cool as being Chris Brown. D goes, DJ Khaled, why am I yelling?
That was funny.
And then the last one is Kendall Jenner. And he's like, oh, well, I guess she. I was like, I have a vagina now. I'm going to explore this and learn all about the inner workings of a woman. So people are freaking out. It's like, oh my goodness, Kendall Jenner is a featured artist. And like, okay, barely. Like, you listen to the song, which I would highly recommend doing because it is hilarious. I don't know if I would call what she does singing.
No.
It sounds like very heavily auto-tuned.
She's talking, they put some auto-tune on it, and she talked in a way that it flows with the song.
Yeah.
That's all
so
she did.
It's not like Kendall Jenner's this up-and-coming pop star. She put in a couple lines as a joke in this song. But I respect it because, A, Kendall Jenner is probably the most low-profile of the Kardashians, other than maybe Kourtney. But I still, like, Kendall's the most normal one. She is also the best-looking, if I may say so. If it's we're still allowed to say that kind of thing. And, you know, she has her once-a-year scandal. You know, people are freaking out because it's offensive. She says the word vagina and talks about how she has one. Well, you know, it's not like she's doing a Pepsi ad, giving a Pepsi to police officers to stop race riots. So I say let her live. Her fun.
Let her live.
Yeah.
Can she live? Jeez, man.
But watch the video, Freaky Friday.
Yes,
it's a hoot.
It's a good one. All right, now Taylor Swift. We'll talk about that in 1 second.
Okay.
That's another tease.
There it goes there.
Taylor Swift is being blamed for breaking up Fifth Harmony. We'll get into it.
But what's
after
next?
We talk about this woman in traffic.
Oh, yes.
Okay? Or this woman in the parking garage. All right, so now somebody tries to go park, right? You'll see in the video we're about to play real quick. Is this one woman goes running across the parking lot and stands in an empty space. Another guy tries to go into the space and park. She won't let him there. She claims it. Here's a little bit of the video.
All right, baby.
You're about to get harmed.
Yeah, she ran over.
Yo, you cannot do that.
Are you kidding? No way.
You're not even in a car, woman. Are you serious?
No. Get out of here. Are you kidding? You're not in the car. Get out.
Where? I don't see no car. You're just running to a spot right now. Are you serious? Are you?
Okay, so now, I don't know what happens because the video stops, but for some reason I feel like they actually left and then she won the argument.
Oh, you didn't see the end of it?
No, I didn't see
Okay, there was like a 3-minute version that I watched. Okay. It goes on for a while. Yeah, eventually, like, her mom comes over and it looks like maybe her grandmother or her aunt, and they're like swapping out, trading places. It's like defense in a basketball game because it makes no sense to me. And like my favorite part in the video is when the guy goes, "This is a parking space for a car, not a woman, you idiot." And then, yeah, eventually, like, they just give up, they just pull out and drive away. Like, I guess, what are you gonna do?
How do you feel about it? Who was in the right?
Of course, the guy in the car.
Why?
It's a parking space for a car, not a woman. Like,
yeah, but she was there first, though.
Yeah, sure, her body was there first. If her car had gotten there first,
but there's no signs that say only cars or trucks. I think that she was perfectly fine to do that.
I can't even argue with that. Like, how?
What do you mean? How can't you?
There's got to be some.
So what's so wrong about getting out of a car and going and get a spot? If I seen a spot, if we were driving together and I saw a spot like 2 rows over and I hopped out of the car and I ran over and got it before anybody else could get it, what's so wrong with that?
It's perfectly fine if you're going to do that and nobody actually wants to take the spot while you're in it. It's just for your own, like, peace of mind. But I'm holding the spot.
It's like putting a cone there.
Yeah, that's different though. Cones, you're allowed to put cones down because people see the cone. People respect the cone. People don't respect you just standing. Wow. We're going to, like, bring a lawn chair and a cooler and set up in a parking spot. Is that what you're saying you can do? Is that what you're saying? You're not, this is a parking space for whatever. I can just park myself here and sit down and read a book in this parking garage. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Okay, so what about those people that go get in line to wait for tickets and they set up, like, a tent so they can sleep out overnight? Well, this is a line for people, not for tents. If with that logic.
But
No. Because even though they're standing there, a car's still gonna go in and like it's.
But
still
in order
sit
to
there and park.
no, because they're not just setting their tent up and leaving. They're staying in the tent, and it's a line for a person.
Kyle
you can
says-
also bring your tent to the line.
Kyle says down here he would have run her over.
Of course he
And
would.
you can't run into a spot when someone's pulling into it. Yes, you can. We just seen it. Perfect.
I mean, it worked, but
See, now, here's
was
the
it
thing.
right? I don't think so.
I don't think he was. He should never have treated her like that.
Like what?
Like
Hold
that.
on. Like, what did he do? Tell her to get out of the space so he
Yes.
could put his car
Did
there?
you hear the anger in his voice?
His car was there first. He had claim to that spot. She tried. She did him dirty.
He was
because
so mean to her. That tone in his voice was just so.
Yeah, she deserved
mean.
it.
No, she was just trying to help her family out. What if inside that car there was a
This is
poor
America.
elderly woman that needed
No,
to be
because the
close?
poor elderly woman got out and was rotating places with the other people.
No, we
in the
don't know
freaking
who was
parking
in the
space.
trunk.
All right, I can't win this. There's no way I can win this because I don't know the laws on what can occupy the space inside, like the between the lines
I
in a parking
know.
spot.
Boo hoo to everybody that's so mad that she got the spot before him.
I think he should have stood his ground. I think he should have, like somebody pointed out in the comments, he should have just slowly inched forward. That way you don't risk running them over, but they can't stop you. That's what he should have done.
You know what? It's unfortunate that there was somewhere leading up to that moment, that guy got delayed like 10 seconds, and that
A wrinkle in
wrinkle
time.
in time.
No, that's what it is.
That wrinkle in time caused him to go through that.
What, did you throw up the woke for
I did. I did
by accident?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
was
just
like,
so used to throwing
we're
out the
woke now?
woke.
Okay.
Yeah,
A wrinkle in
In time.
time. With the dub wrinkle
you're-
in time.
All right, so yeah, I don't know. Let us know how you feel about it.
It's an interesting question.
Honestly, I could care less. I just think whoever gets there first gets it. Because you know what? If I wanted to go stand there, and if I say that I'm getting the spot, and you think you're going to move me from there, we're going to get in a fight. We're going to throw some fists.
That's pretty brawlic.
Like, in all honesty, I'm probably going to lose, but I'm not going to move.
I may lose, but I'll never move.
And I'll lay there crying in that spot, like, oh, you beat me up and stole my spot. Go have fun finding one. Okay. Taylor Swift,
Here we go.
the victim again.
This time, all right. I don't know if this is all part of Taylor Swift's media machine, part of her big, nefarious, Palpatinian plan to get the public back on her side. But once again, I find myself on the side of Taylor Swift, and this is super
Oh my
weird
God.
because it hasn't been this way for 2.5 years now. Ever since the snake emojis and the Calvin Harris breakup drama and the Kim Kardashian video, I've been firmly in the camp that Taylor Swift is basically a demon child. But she's turning herself around
Good job.
nowadays. So there's these rumors going around that Taylor Swift persuaded Camila Cabello to leave Fifth Harmony, and they only really started popping up after Taylor confirmed that Camila was going to be opening for her on the Reputation
Yep.
Stadium tour. So it's basically, Taylor Swift stole Camila Cabello from Fifth Harmony so that she could have her open up on the tour.
Perfect.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, it
That
does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does, because it's cheaper to pay 1 than 5.
Yeah. But at the rate Fifth Harmony probably commands, I doubt it. Because Camila Cabello is far more successful on her own. Far more successful on her own than Fifth Harmony as a group, but we'll get to that. That was actually supposed to be one of my later points. Anyway, let's break it down real quick here. Camila Cabello left Fifth Harmony in December of 2016, like December 17th or 19th, like mid to late December. Right? The Reputation Stadium Tour kicks off on May 8th. So you're going to try and tell me that Taylor Swift hijacked Camila Cabello so that she could open up a tour for her a year and a half later?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Planning.
Now,
Smart planning.
I would believe that Camila, or that Taylor maybe told Camila, hey, this would be a good career move. This would be good for you to get out of that group. Because there were rumors of drama between them. And frankly, I'm not sure that Camila was at fault for all of that. And frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Except I actually do, but Scott poked me when I said frankly, and so I had to do that. But
Nice segue.
thank you. But so there are rumors that Taylor Swift was encouraging her to leave, dating back to as early as April of 2015. So
Ooh.
it's possible
Receipts.
that Taylor was like, you should do this for yourself. That doesn't mean she was trying to steal her for a tour. All right, it doesn't mean she was pulling a Katy Perry. Oh, no, it was Taylor Swift who stole the dancers from Katy Perry, right? It doesn't mean she was pulling dancers on Katy Perry with Camila Cabello of Fifth Harmony. I don't think that's the case. It doesn't. It's just you're thinking like an alien. It just ain't realistic. To quote Marshall Mathers from Airplanes Part 2 with B.O.B. Anyway, that was the point I wanted to make. I had to read my sheet for a second because if that was the case, if Taylor said it's going to be good for your career to do that, she was right. Because, like I said, Camila Cabello has had more success solo than she ever had with Fifth Harmony. She's already had a number 1. Yeah, she's already had Fifth Harmony. She peaked at number 4 with Fifth Harmony. She's had a number 1. Havana went to number 1 in the Hot 100, and she's doing well for herself. And it seems like all the girls in Fifth Harmony she had number 1 album, number 1 song. All the girls in Fifth Harmony are like real salty about this, right? And it makes me think makes me. Well, yeah, I mean, it's either one of two things. Either Camila Cabello was right to leave because they're all a bunch of catty, attention-seeking individuals, or they're just pissed off that Karma hasn't smacked her back yet for bailing on the group. I don't know. There's no way to know.
So Camila Cabello lived off of this. One time I wrote a rhyme, and in the rhyme I wrote, the type to start a group and go solo. So that's Camila Cabello.
Ooh, you wrote that?
Yeah.
That's bars.
Camila Cabello, the
type to start a group and go solo. Well, I mean, she was like the face of Fifth Harmony. She was like the most famous person. And that's probably why they're mad, because when you lose your star. It wasn't like Zayn left One Direction. I was like, okay, whatever, who cares?
Who's Zayn?
Like, exactly. If Harry Styles had left One Direction,
I know who that is.
That might have been
a
big
a great
deal.
album, by the way.
Yeah.
Moving
on.
I was going to say, anything else you want to throw with Camila here?
We already spent too much time on this.
Blue Ivy, right? Touched on this real quick, and before we get into our memes and we dip out of this episode, Blue Ivy was at this auction. I guess it was some charity benefit auction. So it was like for the good. It wasn't just whatever. Well, she's following in her parents' footstep, and she is willing to spend that moolah. Okay, so here's an example of the auction right here.
Oh, y'all made me come from behind the podium because Blue was out there.
Right now, they're just kind of
We got 18 over here. You gonna do 19? Yes! Baby girl is, because let me tell you what's happening. Her mother and father have been talking about how you gather art, and that is a
the best thing is you gotta watch Jay-Z right after she
Americans. Listen, Miss Tina told me all of this. Why do you think I'm up here talking about it? 19 for Miss Blue, yes, and she's like,
and then he pulls her hand down, looks over at like Beyonce, like,
What's funny about that is that Jay-Z was just reported by Forbes to be the richest man in music. He's worth like $800 million apart from Beyonce. So it's not like they don't have the money. Like this is pocket change that they could be throwing around. But I don't know. It is funny the way he looked there. I had something else I want to say about it. Oh yeah. Do you think that maybe that the auctioneer was like fleecing her, like, oh look, we got Blue in the crowd because she knew that Blue would stick her hand up, and be like, I want to pay $19,000 for this.
It was all part of the gimmick. It was how they worked it right there.
It was a slick setup.
Yep. Also, we got noted here that about the Taylor Swift thing, that she's a snake, never trust T-Swiss. That's why she's the Serpentine Queen.
But I think she's
slithering in your dreams.
She's reforming her image, and it's working on me. So maybe I'm about to be a snake minion.
You know how snakes shed their skin?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Is Taylor in the process of shedding her skin? She's getting rid of those scales so she can become the new Taylor Swift. And if that's the case, it is also
God's plan.
That's right.
If that's the case, then we need to do this one because it's funny.
Oh. And you get that laugh when somebody calls up and says it's...
And his name is John C.
You just have to run through those real quick. And if you didn't like that, my friend...
Congratulations, you played yourself.
What a great sound bar.
Oh my god, okay,
here.
So let's get into these memes and end the show here. Alright, so let's start off with, Bill's got two, so we'll go Bill, me, then back to Bill, and then...
Both of these are kind of time sensitive.
Which one do you want to start with?
I'll do that one, yeah. Alright, so this is a St. Patrick's Day meme from this Twitter page I follow called Rock Memes. And it's just, like, absurdist humor about, okay, don't mess it up this time. Concentrate, The Rock, you can do this before we go. This time, happy St. Patrick's Day. I don't know. It's like, what is it? I think it's at Rock Memes. Hang on, let me just confirm.
He's over there looking
at Rock_memes. Just check that page out. Practically everything they tweet makes me crack up because it's just so silly.
Anything with the Rocky on it.
And then this one goes back to.
I'm gonna save yours. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go back and forth here. Okay, here's mine. It's just simple, real life millennials walking around like they rent the place.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh man, why did we get such the
shaft, the financial shaft?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because higher education is a scam,
wow.
More or less. These days, at least.
Wow, man. Well, you know what? All I can say is that it's not going to be hard to beat this generation. Because we have had no luck.
It's like an alley-oop for you, next generation.
Yeah.
It's a slam dunk.
Yeah, everybody looked at us like, oh, how are you going to live up to the generations before us? And we're like, we're not, because our parents aren't going to allow us to. And here we are.
Okay. Speaking of millennials and millennial culture, this is from when Drake played Fortnite on Twitch. Actually, the Young Money Twitter account tweeted this out. The official Young Money Twitter, the variation on the God's Plan memes. If you're not familiar with Fortnite, or if you didn't hear what happened last week, Drake played Fortnite with this Twitch streamer named Ninja. They had a huge amount of viewers, and they use wood as a resource in the game, and you can give resources to each other. So Ninja asked for wood, and Drake was like, I got you. It's God's plan.
Wood.
God's plan. God's plan.
Yeah. So that's
Speaking
it.
of Fortnite, I was scrolling through real quick, like on the timeline, and I came on somebody's page, and it showed like one of these new rappers, and I don't know if the video is real, but it was something like, oh, like his girlfriend was there or something like that, or groupie, and she's like, I went to bed at 2:00 in the morning, and it's 9:00 now, and you're still playing.
That's entirely possible.
He's like, yeah, I got 9 kills. Oh, God. Okay, well, anyways, with that being said, that's it for today's episode of the Bill and Scott Cubicle Show. A nice little fun fact, April 2nd from 11:30 to 1 o'clock at Little Caesars. Get yourself free pizza and a drink because they messed up with a huge tweet. We'll touch on that as we get closer to it because we're going to make a cool little video to go along with it.
Sauce Boys Part 2. Pizza Sauce Boys.
You can catch us on the Jams Facebook page Monday through Thursday at 10:30 Eastern Time.
Because that's the only time zone that matter.
One. Cubicle Show. Cubicle Show. Cubicle Show. Cubicle Show! That's what I'm talking about, boy! Bill and Scott Cubicle Show. Yeah? Bill and Scott Cubicle Show. Yeah! Bill and Scott Cubicle Show. It's the Bill and Scott Cubicle Show. It's the Bill and Scott Cubicle Show. It's the Bill and Scott Cubicle Show. Cubicle Show. Cubicle Show. Cubicle Show. Cubicle Show! Not a rectangle show. Not a triangle show. Not a pyramid show. It's a cubicle show! Bill and Scott Cubicle Show. Yeah? Bill and Scott Cubicle Show. Yeah! Cubicle Show. We're just gonna... One. Boy!